you have come to the place where you can learn to harness the power of intention, to create subconscious beliefs that serve you, and to gain insights that allow you to create a life, personally and professionally, that you desire. This is the place where you leverage your subconscious mind and design your destiny. Join me now, your host, Penny Chason. Hey, joyful souls, Penny here, and I am just curious. How often do you choose what it is that you're going to do with your day, your family, your job, career, business, life in general? How often do you make choices that allow you to avoid self-criticism? Because avoiding self-criticism can quite literally implode your dreams. I'm not talking about going out and knocking on doors, looking for a reason to criticize yourself, to look for past mistakes, to look for possible future mistakes. That's not what I mean. Where I'm going with this is that when we avoid self-criticism, it means that we're not pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zone. And it means that we're allowing our past and our past beliefs, our past fears, our past experiences to drive our future decisions. Now, no one likes that inner critic voice. None of us like to hear it. None of us want to hear from it. And mainly that's because as adults, to a large degree, we recognize that this inner voice is, it's just ridiculous, right? So we know we have something important that we want to do. We know we have something important that needs to be said. And yet we hear this voice in our head. Oh, nobody's going to want to hear what you have to say. Nobody cares what you have to say. Oh, your ideas are ridiculous, And there's a part of us that knows that not everyone is going to resonate with our message. We know that. We understand that. But then this voice comes up. There are reasons why in marketing you have a niche, and that is so that the people that you want to work with love your message. And I know that all of my followers who are business people are going to understand this. That also means that you can craft your message in a way that people who maybe aren't a good fit for what you do, they don't resonate with your messaging. So they don't listen. So we can have this knowing that there are only certain people who are going to like what we have to say. Yet at the same time, there are going to be people who love what we have to say. We have this little inner voice in our head going, off of this fear that, oh, they're not going to like what you have to say. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. And it freezes us in our tracks. And I say us because I've been there. I know what that means to feel like I can't, push go live on Facebook because, oh my God, what if I upset somebody? Well, we're always going to upset someone, right? It's human nature. It's impossible for 100% of the people to agree with us 100% of the time. It's called individuality, and we're all aware of that. I recognize I'm preaching to the choir here, so to speak. But when we're making choices and decisions to avoid that self-criticism, we're holding ourselves back. So I would challenge you to meet that self-criticism head on, to face it down, to do the things that you know are right and aligned in your life with what it is that you want to create. And when that self-criticism comes up, evaluate it. Where is this coming from? Is it valid? And if there's a part of you that knows it's not valid, even though there's a part of you that it makes feel icky and want to hide and hold back, it's time to face down that self-criticism and say, no, I've got this. There are people who want to hear from me. And even though it feels uncomfortable, to push through and do that thing anyway, whatever it is. Because as long as you continue to give in to the voice of self-criticism, you are going to reinforce that voice of self-criticism. Because every time you give in to it, you reinforce the pattern that when that voice comes up, you pull back. That voice comes up, you change direction. That voice comes up, you step back into your comfort zone. Is that what you really want? If you don't want to stay where you are and you want to be somewhere else, whether it's your relationships, your business, whatever it may be, then if there's something that you need to change, if there's a new identity that you need to step into to make that happen, you're going to have to face down that voice. Because every time that you give into it, you're reinforcing it. So it's all about using your mind, using your mindset to create a new way of thinking in its place. To see yourself from a new perspective in its place. Now, this takes practice. It takes repetition when we're dealing with the subconscious and these things that come up. It takes persistence and consistency to reprogram your mind to where you want it when you are going into thought stopping, using self-hypnosis, using visualization. It takes day in and day out, persistence and consistency. If you find that you're doing those things and many days to weeks has passed by and that voice has either gotten stronger or you don't seem to be getting anywhere, then it might be time to reach out and book a subconscious blueprint call. This is a free call where we can connect, we can get an assessment of what exactly it is that's happening, how it's interfering with what it is that you want. And we can come up with solutions for you to break that pattern, to break that habit, perhaps even unplant the seed that created the belief that, no one will listen to you. You're not good enough. You need to hide. Why are you putting yourself out there? We're going to get judged. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Right? Because if you're listening to this podcast, then that means you are making some adjustments and some changes in your life. You may have been for a while now, but you're simply choosing to stay in the work, which is so important. And when we stay in the work and as we peel layers and as we grow, sometimes even though through allowing, it has been fairly easy, and then suddenly we find ourselves at a point, it's like, okay, it's not as easy as it was. I've run into something here. I've grown to a point that I've hit a belief that what I'm doing isn't enough anymore. And if you find that that's you, I want you to reach out to me because it doesn't have to be that way. So just really be honest with yourself. Ask yourself if you have been making decisions, choices in your life, relationships, or business to avoid self-criticism. Some people call it playing small. Some people call it hiding. There's any number of ways that you can describe it, but I believe that you understand what I'm talking about. So if you're ready to eliminate this out of your life, book that call, and I'll talk to you next week. Thanks for tuning in today. I would love it if you would head over to iTunes and leave a positive review about how this episode has helped you to improve your life. When you leave a positive review, it helps us to reach even more people, helping them to change their lives, and that positive energy and vibration of sharing comes back to you as we spread the message of how you can use the power of intention, creating stronger subconscious beliefs, and raising our vibration to create the life that we desire, the one that we're here to truly live so that we can fulfill our purpose in life. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.